What's up guys, Matt here coming at you with the Axial Gilamon. This is one I told myself I wasn't gonna buy, but the curiosity got the best of me. I had to check one out for myself. I'm seeing people doing mods to these and stuff, and I really wanted to get in on it. I do think this being Axial, that it's got a future. There's gonna be a lot of aftermarket support for this. I kind of liked the Red Cap Marksman size. Yeah, it was an oddball when I would go out and nobody else had one. So like it was kind of by itself, but I do a lot of crawling by myself, actually testing things and stuff. So for me personally, I thought this might be kind of cool because as I mentioned, I did kind of grow to like that size of the Marksman, but there was really never any aftermarket support for it. This I feel like is going to be the complete opposite. Being axial based, this is going to have tons of aftermarket support. So I thought I would just go ahead and jump in on it and see what I thought. So I'm not going to be like most of the pre-release videos on this and tell you this is a brand new feature back here.
No other RTRs.
No other RC car.
Never seen before on an RC.
A brand new technology.
This locking mechanism, it's been done. I don't know. The Yikong YK07, JK07, I don't know. Like they've got so many different names for their trucks, but they actually did it slightly better in my opinion. This looks like it kind of has to be, you have to hit reverse a little bit to disengage it and all that stuff. So I kind of liked the way they had their setup with like a disc brake style setup, and it was just kind of automatic. So that really didn't pique my interest. It was more the size of it. And we're going to be going to Beach Creek soon. Liam really likes to just kind of plow through the creek. And I thought this would be a really good truck for that. You know, sitting on 2.2s, it's a little larger, got the clearance and stuff. It's got rock lights on it ready to go. So if we go out at night and run, he's gonna have lights. I'd like to maybe put a light bar on this thing or something, just to give it a little more light. But I thought all of that would be pretty cool. Now, there's some design flaws on this, I guess you would say. There's no denying that some of this stuff is just ridiculous. Okay, this, if any other company did this, man, the haters would be all over Red Cat or somebody for doing this, right? It just looks awful. And yeah, it's an easy fix. I will fix that at some point, but I just wanted to leave it, show you guys how dumb that is. And then the other thing, these axles legit have a big gap underneath here apparently. And this is a piece of tape covering the gap in the axle. Are you freaking, I mean, 600 bucks and I got tape covering gaps in the axle? So, in my opinion, like this back here just looks like unfinished. It looks like it was designed by a fifth grader that downed a gallon of Red Bull and forgot to take his ADHD meds or something. I don't know, like, it's just unfinished, in my opinion, and half-assed together. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to see this succeed. It doesn't mean I don't want to enjoy it and see it do well. That's why I bought it. I hope it changes my mind when I go out and crawl it. As I said, I kind of like the size. I'm hoping that as the aftermarket comes along for this, this becomes a popular size to run. I do think there are some lines at some of the places I crawl that this is going to open up. That just having that little bit longer, wider wheelbase, even though my comp style builds have more clearance and are balanced out way better and that sort of thing, this having the larger wheelbase is going to unlock a few lines that I haven't did before. So that's what really piqued my interest. Anytime I can hit a new line, I'm interested. I want this to do well. I want to see the aftermarket blow up for this. So I'm not just hating on it. I'm just trying to point out some of the things that I feel like have just kind of been sugar-coated a little bit for you guys. But in the end, I think this is going to be pretty good. You know, I'm going to do a few upgrades to it. I'm going to take it out, run it as it is, probably leave it at that for now, and then I'm going to work on the upgrades. I may do the servo winch here. So one cool design with this is you can mount up a winch inside, route it through here, hook it on the front axle. And so when you start to go up something, when those shocks start to unload, you can just kind of turn that winch on and it'll pull it up. And then once you get over, you can kind of drop it back down and catch traction. So that is pretty cool that they thought about that and put that little hook onto the axle. So that kind of interested me. Adam Cape Crawlers did a really good video on an Injora servo. The winch servo from Injora. I actually have one of those sitting here, so I thought, hey, that's cool. I'll go ahead and throw that in there. I've had it for a while and didn't have anything to use it in, so we do now. So I am excited about this. I'm very curious as to what lines we can hit with it. So let's fire this thing up, take a quick look at it, and then we're gonna go crawl it. All right, so mine out of the box has more steering to the left than the right, and the dual rate or steering rate on the transmitter is turned all the way up. So I'm gonna just swap out this transmitter so that I've got better adjustment on that, because it is centered up pretty well. We're just not getting the same throw to the right as we do the left. I think you can definitely tell. Slow crawl is a stock system. It is what it is. It's not very good. We do have overdrive in this out of the box. I forget the amount of overdrive. I'll try to put it up on the screen, but it has overdrive in the transmission, and then they offer portal gears to give more overdrive if you want it. So it's very cool to see that we're now getting overdrive out of the box. Not a terrible slow crawl on a brushed system. Of course, we'll have to get it out against some stuff, get it in a bind, see how it does. But it doesn't seem to be terrible. It is a very loud transmission. I feel like just being all metal gears in there. This thing is insanely loud. But it's a little larger, metal gears. All right, so I do love how easy it is to get into the battery. This just kind of clicks into place. Hopefully that's not flying open when we start taking, hard falls. But it's very easy to get in there. Plenty of room for a larger battery. I put a little bitty 850 pack in there. I usually run those small batteries. And it keeps the weight down, especially in something like this where it's mounted way up high. Power switch is right underneath here. Very easy to get to. There's a button here for your rock lights. So you can just hit this button and you've got different color rock lights. So you've got a red, a blue, like a yellow, or I think that's yellow, blue. I'm slightly colorblind. So, but we've got a purple there, blue, white, red, green. We've got some back here that kind of shine down, and then these just shine out. I would have liked to have seen some here like shining down as well. So kind of odd placement for those. The rear locking ASD or whatever is a little different. So I'm going to talk about it, because the thing I don't like about it is, like, you have to kind of push it until it locks, then you can let off of it. And then it's locked. But to unlock it, you have to hit reverse. It doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to unlock until you bump reverse a little bit. So on a super technical line, that's going to kill you probably, having to hit that reverse. Now the Fusion's going to help with that, hopefully, because our transition into that reverse will be super smooth and we can just barely move until we hear that click and know that's released. You do have to watch the temps on this servo. So you don't want to just hold this down the entire time that you're using this. Once you click it and it locks, let off of it. That way this servo goes back to center, because it's probably going to burn this servo up. Okay, so maybe we can just like fidget with it a little bit. So I'm going to turn it like this so you guys can see it. So let's lock it. It is locked. We should be able to let off. Now it's going back. So maybe a better servo there that really just kind of yanks it back into place. So we're fully locked. Let's let off. We're still locked. And if we just kind of fidget that a couple times, you can see it unlock. So that's much better than having to hit reverse, in my opinion. So let's try it again. Locked. Let off of it. It stays locked. Ah, nice. So we can just kind of do that. So that's not near as bad as what I thought it was going to be. If I was having to bump reverse all the time, that was kind of going to be useless. So let's lock this driver side, let off of it. Stays locked. Did that do it? Yeah. So we may have to, it's weird. So that's why I feel like maybe a better servo. I don't know, he may just have to bump that reverse. It's kind of odd. I really thought a stronger servo would kind of yank it back into place, but a lot of people were saying like you had to basically disengage it by hitting reverse. And that definitely seems to be the case to the driver's side. Whoo, that servo is hot. So in that little bit of playing I just did, this servo is smoking hot. I can't even touch it for like 2 or 3 seconds. Roasting hot. I had to do this earlier when I was playing around with it. If you leave it alone, leave it centered, it's not, you know, off and like pulling constantly. It's just using it. So if you just leave it alone, put it back in center, it is good. But be careful playing around with that a lot on the stock servo because it's just not going to handle it. What? Dude. Oh my gosh. I can't even get to the crawling spot. Oh my gosh. I've never been over here and the water been this high. So normally we park like over here and we crawl down over the hill right there and it is completely underwater. Wow, that sucks. So my big freaking bright idea was just to hit the creek by the house because it's so close, but we had this person down here loading up creek rock in the back of their car. So I drove by. Luckily, as I come back, it looks like maybe he's leaving, so I can pull in there. Well, you definitely don't see that every day. This place is definitely a little sketchy at times. That's why I was saying the guy that I know kind of tries to come by here daily, at least once or twice, to keep tabs on it. Because a lot of people do stuff down here they shouldn't, but as you can see, there's a lot of water, not a lot of rocks uncovered. I didn't even wear shoes for this. I mean, where I was planning to go, you're not anywhere near any kind of slick rock or anything usually, but this thing is supposed to need bigger lines, right? So we're going to see if it can do some of these tougher climbs like this. We may have to throw a couple rocks in that, but I don't know how much we're going to get in here, but we're going to see what we can do. So I feel like getting these tires wet is probably the absolute worst thing for this because these tires are definitely not going to do well wet. They're barely going to do anything dry, I would say. So we had to kind of back off of that climb, see if we can do anything here. Servo is definitely underpowered. Get that bite right there, come on. This is the main problem with any sort of Capra or caged build like this. You get to this point with that massive skid and it's not going to get over that. So far this will crawl nothing. All right, let's try this again. So far this is kind of a big turd out of the box. added a few rocks there, kind of moved the rocks around a bit to give us a little better clearance right here. That's one of the things I was talking about with the big massive skid. Like, skid is so huge on this. It's definitely a little underpowered in my opinion. Now we're going to be in this hole. Good Lord. There we go. Just gotta get the right bounce there. Actually a little too wide for this, which is one of the problems. If we can really hug that driver's side tire under that rock, we may make it around this. What if we, I don't think that driver rear is touching. I was gonna say if I locked it maybe. I think that did help right there a little bit. That was pretty cool. Very hard to stay out of that massive hole there. All right, I've tried this a few times and I've had to add some rocks. These tires are just pretty awful. The width of this is just kind of odd. It's a big truck, not super capable yet. As you can see there, I added a couple rocks. That was one of them. And it was able to make it. Now, I think there's a drop on the other side. I don't know. Not as bad as I thought. That's where this being super long and wide definitely made that look easy. It's a pretty good sized drop, but it didn't look like it with this thing. Oh, so we're gonna try to get up onto this and up onto this rock. The smell out here today is wonderful. With all those dead fish over there, you can only imagine. Oh, definitely gonna have to punch that a little more than what I thought. That was cool. Up to this point, I have been running these bands on the front shocks. I kind of forgot I put those on there, guys. My apologies. That's something I'm going to recommend because the dropout on the front shocks on this is just crazy. But You guys probably want to see this completely stock. So I pulled those off. Let's see if I can kind of get in the same position as I was earlier to hit this. And it may help us to have a little more drop out on that front end on some of this stuff where that skid's really wanting to catch. That drop may help us, I don't know. It's going to be hard to get in the same position here. Look at those super soft foams there. What is... So the transmitter just started beeping at me. I don't have a Spectrum battery in here, but it was going nuts, flashing. Maybe the battery's getting low, but it's not a Spectrum battery. It really shouldn't know that. I don't think. The controller shouldn't know that, right? I don't know. I never run these things. Usually I get rid of them instantly, but just haven't did it yet. Let's see if we can turn this thing around here. Use that ASD on the passenger side to pull us around a bit. See if we can pull back up over this. I highly doubt we can drop straight down this, but see, there's where that dropout may kind of help us. Bridging over that gap right there. So if those front shocks are pulled up, your front tires are not going to be touching there as much. So kind of helped us there. Here's where I wish we could lock both when we wanted to, because I would lock both and kind of use it as a brake to come down this. This is a pretty big drop. Pretty good little overhang right here. I don't know if it'll get up this or not. Probably gonna have to punch it. Hope for the best. Oh, that was it right there. It's so laggy. Oh, you big freaking turd. I don't know what Axial's talking about. You're going to need harder lines, tougher lines, whatever they say, because so far this thing not really doing much more than any decent 10th scale would do. So I already killed one battery with this thing. It definitely goes through batteries a little quicker than 10th scale. I was running a small, like 800 mile pack. I try to run those smaller packs a lot of times. But yeah, it killed it quick. Just can't seem to get that right rear up over this lip right here. There's a big gap. Come on. These tires are absolutely awful. Shoo. It's like running on slicks. Look at that. Jeez. So I really just needed to get like right there, maybe. You can tell though, with these tires being just a little wet and dirty, they're awful. I mean, it's just like stock Capra tires. It reminds me so much of being out here with a stock Capra. Let's try that again. I feel like ASD could help us right there. Lock that right rear, bring the front around so we don't slide off of that. But then your tires just don't grip at all, so it really don't do you much good. But it did help us there. I think a good tire right there, that would have been a nice maneuver. So I think there are places we can kind of use it. It's not a game changer. It's kind of like dig to me. You know, dig is really cool and it's really helpful in some places, but I've kind of got to where I just prefer to kind of shed the weight and do without the dig. So this is the area where I run the 24s quite a bit. A lot of much easier crawling down here, but a couple spots may be decent for this. Like that with good tires, that should just be such a simple walk right up it climb, and it's just doing nothing. Like, come on. ASD doesn't even work. Look. Trying to lock the driver there and it's doing nothing. So I don't know what the heck it's doing. To the driver's side, you can see that. There it goes, finally. I was just... Oh, can't believe we made that. I really didn't think it was gonna make that one. That was pretty cool. Man, when we get 4S in this thing, it's definitely gonna have some good punch. Let's try another one. Yeah. Yeah. So this is actually the kind of line I'm hoping this can do with some new tires. I don't think we're gonna get this. Let's find out. I think this part we can get up. That's cool. Now, if we lock that, no. Got to get this passenger up and over that. It's almost where I wanted to be there for a second. Right there. Now, this is the challenging part. It's actually like not real tipsy though. That's pretty straight up. And it's not really wanting to tip backwards. It's just that massive skid. That's kind of the same problem the Capra cage has. Like you can make the Capra really good, but no matter what you do, you don't have a good angled, super high clearance skid. So you're just gonna have that issue, but the ruptures are a little bit taller. Adding a little more weight to that front may help us kind of bounce this and keep the front end down. I don't think we're quite going to get this one. It was really cool that it even got to this point. It's just that skid hanging up. Oh, that's not a good bounce. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that, but I'm going to come back for that. So I feel like there's a lot of people that's really going to like this thing that just kind of goes out and like plows through stuff like this. You know, it's going to do okay to just like run through this stuff. And for a lot of people that is rock crawling, you know. But for me, trying to do like technical stuff, and this place really doesn't even have that much technical stuff, it's pretty much a turd out of the box. I got a couple little lines I was kind of hyped about. I do feel like the tires are a big deal. I didn't expect much out of them. Honestly, I probably should have just went ahead and changed them. Nobody's really gonna run these, I don't think. They are just a glue-on tire, so you can't reuse these even if you wanted to. I don't know why you would. But I kind of wanted to show you guys, like, you know, all of the videos on this pre-release, they're always kind of hype train, you know, and it's showing all of what it can do and the ASD, and really out of the box, this servo is so crap that it doesn't really even do much good at all. If you're on flat ground and you want to just kind of turn a circle, or you're on a very not challenging line, in my opinion, it works okay. But it's actually just kind of gimmicky to me. I honestly would probably just rather have dig. And I don't know, it's definitely not useful out here really. And I'm hoping I like this much more after some upgrades. The crawl's not terrible. Slow crawl's really not horrible. I do feel like on 4S we're going to have more punch, which is going to suit this big build much better. Servo's pretty slow and laggy, especially when you get in those tough spots. It just doesn't work sometimes. But it's not bad for the price. It probably should be more. I mean, it's kind of in line with a 10th scale Capra, but it's not much more impressive in my opinion. So if you have a bunch of people that are running 10th scale, you'd probably be better off with a Capra, honestly. But if you're looking to go with something bigger, just something different, I think it has potential, and we're going to hopefully find out. I do think more overdrive would even help this thing, because it just doesn't really feel like it has overdrive. I know it's supposed to out of the box, that was cool. But it does not feel like it has really much overdrive at all. So after running this, would I recommend it? Really, that comes down to how much money you got. No, I'm just kidding. really, if you've been down like the 10 scale Capra road, in my opinion, I don't know that this is different enough that I would highly suggest it. Maybe if you've got a couple buddies picking them up, then yeah, you want to get one. Really, straight out of the box, you're going to want to change wheels and tires, which that's every RTR. Servos, that's pretty much every RTR. Ready to run, the RTR anymore has kind of become ready to rape your wallet, right? So like RTR has a different meaning now than it used to, in my opinion anyways. But besides that, the base of the buggy is pretty solid. The motor in ESC was fine, you know. It does feel a little underpowered, but I think it did fine. I wouldn't mind to leave it in there if I wasn't just super picky and always wanted more power. So I'm gonna put the Fusion 8 in here. I have seen people put just the 10 scale Fusion in them, and that would probably be okay. I feel like it'd be slightly underpowered for me personally, but the smaller motor may actually fit in there a little better. I do know that the Fusion 8 kind of sticks out a little bit right here, so that's kind of something we may have to worry about kind of banging on that motor from time to time. But besides that, the base of the buggy is pretty solid. I didn't have any breakage, no links broke, axles, anything like that. One thing I really like about this compared to the Capra is you can replace just the C-hub here. I know that was a weak point on the Capras. They would break right there quite a bit, and then you had to replace the entire housing. So that's nice that that is like a three-piece design, I guess you would say. And then honestly, just treat this for what it is. This is kind of like a hard body build for me. That's the way I'm going to treat it anyways, because it's not a super comp style truck. It is larger, so it's going to do a couple maybe crazier lines. Really not compared to something like this comp style build. It's not impressive at all, but it's not this, right? This is two different beasts right here. This is designed to have a forward skid, angled skid, all this crazy clearance. So this is really going to do those like kind of crazy lines, and this is just going to do a little bigger line. So I guess Axial was right after all, right? But you're always going to be slightly limited just because of this massive area here that's going to hang up. But if you treat this sort of like a hard body version of a buggy, you know, because it's kind of what it is. You got a lot more weight up here than usual, you know, over a Lexan body or something like that. I really think it can be fun, and that's what I'm planning to do, is just go a little more scale with mine. That's why I have like this interior I'm going to try to swap in here. I'm going to get to installing that like soon, hopefully. And I got a few plans back here, a couple of little things we'll try to do, but I'm going to make it a little more scale-ish buggy and just have fun with it, you know. I do think that they gave us a decent buggy for the base. It's a typical RTR, you know, ready to rape, right? I wanted to show you sort of the size comparison. This is basically a Rift size, so almost exactly the same size as my Rift here. So don't be fooled, don't be thinking it's gonna be bigger, smaller, whatever. I may actually swap these wheels and tires onto here for Beat the Creek, because these Baja Pro X's, man, they rip some stuff. So we may do that, but I do have a couple different tires I'm gonna try on here. The Scorpios, I just love the look of these, the sidewall especially here. So I picked up a set of those to try on it, and then I had some ruptures around. It's hard to beat a rupture like for straight up crawling, but I'm gonna try both of those. So a lot of upgrades coming. You guys, let me know what you think about this one, and I'll link it in the description if you want to pick it up from there. It does help me out, but buy it if you want. Pass, be mad, hate on me, whatever. I don't care what you do, honestly. If you don't know that by now, you must be new here. I appreciate you guys watching. Peace.